Hey, Soap, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite songs, and today I am going to do another things video where I talk about things. Let's go! Actually, these things are songs, and I'm gonna split them into three categories as usual. So let's start off, because there are like 60 songs that I'm gonna talk about in this video. I'm gonna start off with songs that I don't think are that great or that bad. Starting off with Alex Cameron's new track, Stepdad. Stepdad? It's okay. It's one of the more low-key Alex Cameron tracks, and the performances are just meh, not that engaging. We have Alicia Keys with Show Me Love, a visual experience or something. And it's not that bad actually. I actually kind of like the tune and the very sensual slowness of the track. However, it's not that colorful or original of a track either. It's just kind of average. Afterwards, we have a track that I stumbled upon in YouTube recommendations that is Apprat with Heroist. And this is a really weird, chopped up, experimental, sort of electronic sample based, not sample based, but just chopped up track. And I thought it's pretty sonically interesting. However, it's not that colorful or all that challenging. Aurora also comes up with a new track called Apple Tree, with a music video that could have been good if it weren't for the very annoying crash zooms. And the song itself is actually surprisingly lighthearted. My friend just texted me. Yeah, the tune itself is pretty lighthearted, pretty poppy. The beat is okay, and I like the energy and the vibe of the song. It's just that the song feels average. We have Battles, two new tracks from Battles. Actually, one track, but it's called A Loop So Nice / They Played It Twice, featuring Xenia Rubinos, whom I have talked about a little bit very briefly in the 2016 Best Albums video. And it's okay. I kind of like the weird, odd grooves and the strange soundscapes of the track. But that's pretty much the extent of it. Nothing all that colorful or vibrant. The Big Moon, also a track that I stumbled upon on YouTube, has a track called Your Light, and it is this average, sunny, optimistic, indie rock track. The vocals are very deep-pitched, which isn't the problem. The guitars are pretty well played, which isn't the problem. The problem is, I guess, it doesn't feel all that creative or original. It feels kind of average. Cattle Decapitation, a death metal band, has a track called One Day Closer to the End of the World. Yes, that is true. That is actually true. We're one day closer every day. It makes sense. And it's a pretty generic death metal track, I must say. Not that it's bad. I mean, the performances are still there. It's still very loud and crushing. It's just, average. We have Churches, actually making a song for Death Stranding, the video game. Yes, the video game that I probably won't have the chance to play, but I want to play because it's just so weird. I mean, Norman Reedus is in it, and I think Lea Seydoux is also in the game as well. I think Mads Mikkelsen is also in the game as well. Really cool. But this track feels like an average Churches song with its very glossy synths and its very sweet sugar-coated instrumentations that doesn't really give a lot of substance at all. We have a DaBaby with a new track, Vibes, which, I mean, has the energetic performance, but the instrumentals is just kind of average, a little lackluster. Danny Brown also came out with a new track. Hell yeah, I'm looking forward. And this track is called Dirty Laundry, and it's not as freaky or as eccentric as some of his stuffs back in Atrocity Exhibition. However, again, I like the very kooky, freaky performances, and it is a pretty funny and entertaining song, I must say. Also, Earthgang with the track Top Down, which has a pretty okay beat, but some pretty solid performances. Also, Fat Joe, Cardi B, and Annual AA with the track Yes. It is a banger. The beat is actually pretty nice. The performances, it's a little, but I mean, I still think the song is okay. You know, it's decent. Phineas O'Connell, brother of Pirate Baird O'Connell, aka Billie Eilish. He came out with 2 new tracks, I Don't Miss You at All and Shelter. I kinda think they're both pretty. It's not that these songs are bland and boring, but because, you know, he's going for the lo-fi production, and I actually find that kind of creative and refreshing, it's that the melodies of the track, it's just not quite as interesting or as captivating or as challenging. They're just kind of melodramatic. And then afterwards, Flume has a new track, Rushing Back, featuring Vera Blue. I like the very futuristic, squeaky, swanky, wonky, googly sound play on the track, but other than that, it's a pretty average Flume collab track, you know? Foals also has a new track for their Part 2 Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost album, and that is Into the Surf, which is a bit of a slow burn track in my opinion, nothing all that spectacular. Yeah, just a slow burn. Afterwards, Foster the People has a pretty fun, sugar-coated pop rock tune. Pick You Up is the title of the track. Nothing all that new, nothing all that fun, just average. Also, speaking of average, Francis and the Lights, Take Me to the Light, featuring Bon Iver and Kanye West. 2 pretty good artists being featured here. Actually, Kanye West is great, I think. However, again, you know, with all the Francis and the Lights features lately, he's not doing so well. His music isn't really all that creative, nor that powerful, kind of mundane, actually. Also, The Garden has a track called Call This Number Now, and it's a fun, comedic metal track that's actually really entertaining. But that's pretty much the extent of it, you know. It's not really, not really all that great anyway. But of course, the drumming and the guitar playing isn't really that profound or anything. Grimes and I_O has a new track called Violence, and it is a pretty average, poppy, washed out, cutting edge Grimes pop song, art pop song. The hook of the thing is a little weak in my opinion, even though I still like the production. Afterwards, HER has a track called Slide featuring YG, a very low-key trap-inspired beat here. I like the performances by both HER and YG, but Injury Reserve has a track called HPNGC featuring JPEG Mafia and Code Orange. Yes, you've heard me right. Yeah, right? Like, this track should be a banger. In fact, it's not. It's very low-key, it's very experimental, and very chopped up, and I don't know how much Code Orange had contributed, because I know they're a pretty gruesome noise rock band that I enjoyed. I really liked the album Forever. This track, though, maybe it'll grow on me. Who knows? Anyway, Johnny Goth has a pretty average, generic goth-inspired ballad, Let Them In, and the track When the Fire Comes by Kiro Benito is also okay. They're going for a more mainstream, lowest common denominator vibe. I don't think it's bad, but it just feels very upfront and kind of bland, actually, especially when the instrumentals of this track just feels kind of flat. And Metronomy, Wedding Bells, it's a pretty good song with a pretty interesting music video. But other than that, I think the guitar riffs and the drums, they're just kind of average. Also, Peggy Go, a Korean singer, I think, has a track called Starry Night, which surprisingly has a very nice disco-y synth in the back. However, the vocals, they're not that great. They're kind of, they're just not that great, you know? Just get a vocal coach, please. And the instrumentals, they're not all that special either. Perfume Genius has a new track as well. Eye on the Wall is the name of the track. And again, it's pretty low-key, pretty emotionally potent. However, this time I feel like Perfume Genius is being a little more experimental, maybe trying out some newer, trendier beats. Yeah, and it's not doing really well. Anyway, Soccer Mommy has a track called Lucy, and while I like the instrumentations and the melodies of the track, I still think the performances aren't quite there. And also Spoon has a new track, Shake It Off, and again, you know, I like the tune, I like the melodies. My brother's playing the piano, taking a piano class actually right now. Great timing, perfect timing. But this track, the performances, I just wish it would push further, and I just wish the song is catchier, you know. Surf Curse with Christine F is a pretty bland and generic post-punk track. Even though it's a post-punk track and I love post-punk, it's not one of the better post-punk tracks. Anyway, Teebs has a track called Study featuring Panda Bear. I think Teebs is from Animal Collectives. Yeah, I think the very washed out synths and instrumentals aren't really all that spectacular, and the whole thing feels kind of blob, you know? Anyway, Twin Peaks have a track called Oh Mama, and it's a pretty loud and pretty, you know, hands in the air kind of indie rock tune. What else are you gonna expect? Wallows, speaking of indie rock, Wallows has a track called Treacherous Doctor. Surprisingly, it's not that bad. I mean, the song, the tune itself, it's pretty pleasant, pretty enjoyable, okay, but also pretty average. Speaking of average, Ives Tumor, new track, Applaud, featuring Hirakish and Napoleon. I like that name. I like Hirakish and Napoleon. This is a cool name. They're one artist, right? But yeah, anyway, I think the instrumentals are kind of lackluster here, even though I think the production is okay. At the end, Zed, Good Thing, featuring Kalani. It's actually really pleasant, really lovely, really lovable. I like the vocals of the thing, I like the production of the thing, I like the beat. However, that's pretty much the extent of it. It still sounds kind of generic and average and kind of, you know, mainstream in a very dumbed down way, you know, but still, I think it's kind of pleasant. Worst tracks, let's go. Starting off with Aich with Bust Down, and I stumbled upon this track in my YouTube recommendations, and boy, it's not good. The vocals, the delivery, they're just annoying. They're very annoying, very obnoxious, and the beat is basic as hell. Alexander Savior with Saving Grace, also not a good song, not at all. At first I thought I would enjoy it with the nice, mellowy, sweet instrumentals. However, the vocals, man, the vocals, they are intolerable, okay? They're, oh my gosh, okay? There's sandpaper in her throat. Afterwards, Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, and Lana Del Rey with Don't Call Me an Angel from the Charlie's Angel movie. And it, you know, it's a pop song with a trap beat slapped on top. It feels sloppy. The writing feels sloppy, and it feels like a hodgepodge of mess. And Lana Del Rey is on the track, and of course they have to slow down the song and make it 10 times jazzier and sleazier so that Lana Del Rey can show up. Yeah, it's stupid. A Boogie with the Hoodie. A Boogie with the Hoodie. A Boogie with the Hoodie has a new track called Mood Swings, and it's bland AF. Afterwards, speaking of bland, Bruno Major, not Bruno Mars, Bruno Major with the track Nothing, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The song literally sounds like nothing. Not a beat, very minimalist guitars and hushed vocals that are bland. Yeah, bland. Afterwards, Camila Cabello with the track Liars. It, again, feels like a very generic mainstream pop song that's probably a ripoff of, like, another hit song or something. Charlie Puth came out with this track last night, and it's called Cheating on You, and it's generic. It's very average. It's more generic than ever. I feel like it's even more generic than We Don't Talk Anymore, which is one of the most obnoxious songs I've heard from Charlie Puth. I mean, this track is just bland, mundane, unoriginal, and I don't want to listen to it, okay? I think it's going to blow up, and I hope it doesn't. Deacon has a track called Golden Chords, and it's another hodgepodge demo quality electronic track. Yeah. Also Diplo and Jonas Brothers with the track Thomas Wesley Lonely, which I think is also one of the more generic tracks Diplo is involved in. The Jonas Brothers feature is just so average. It's exactly how you would imagine it to happen. Afterwards, Drake has a new song called Behind Bars. I'm trying to say the word track and song at the same time, and this is what happens. Anyway, Behind Bars is a very boring track. The beat is very dry, very drab, and Drake sort of raps very averagely on top. And yeah, I mean, it's a diary kind of track, so I don't really expect much from it either. Fall Out Boy, they said their last album, Mania, is their last album, and then now they're coming out with new singles again, and this is Dear Future Self, Hands Up, featuring Wyclef Jean. It's bad. Some disgusting, gross, stomach churning millennial pop rock is back. The vocals of the thing, they're so dead. They're so deaf-tone. It's honestly disgusting. FK Twigs, unfortunately, the track Holy Terrain featuring Future. It feels uninspired, and it feels like she's trying to appeal to like the mainstream audience as well, which is like the worst thing that FK Twigs could probably do through her artistry, is to appeal to mainstreamers. Anyway, speaking of mainstream, French Montana, Writing on the Wall, featuring Post Malone, Cardi B, and Russian. It's bad. It's really bad. It's bland, it's boring, and the performances, they have no chemistry, like zero chemistry. And the music video too. Like giants in a city, like wow, very original music video. Many wow. Afterwards, Green Day, Father of All. This feels like some really outdated, washed down, dumbed down pop rock. Yeah, and the guitar riffs and the melodies, they're all very corny, very outdated, and I don't like it at all. Afterwards, Halsey with the track Graveyard. I mean, this song is pretty bland and pretty damn boring for a track called Graveyard, where in the music video we basically see a time lapse of her drawing herself. The Japanese house, something has to change. Speaking of drab, I get it, they're going for this low-key thing, but like, come on. It's very one-dimensional. Korn has a corny track, get it, called Can You Hear Me? And Lil Mosey and Gunna made a track called Stuck in a Dream, and it's generic. M83 has 2 new tracks, actually 3 new tracks. Luna Fuel, Feelings, and another track. And they're all really like dizzying and disorienting and kind of dreamy. I like the music videos, I have to admit. I like the music videos. However, it's just a mess. It just sounds like a mess. It doesn't have a strong center focus. Also, I guess there's a non-English singer here, Maje, with the track Du, And unfortunately, I have to put it here as well because it just sounds really bland. Noah Cyrus, speaking of bland, Noah Cyrus, Lonely. But yeah, the lyrics, they really suck. They're basically melodramatic. They try to be edgy, okay? They try to be relatable. And it's just very not good. We have REM, a demo track, Revolution 421. And it's a demo track, so what do you expect? The sound quality is not good. Robin Thicke has a new track, suddenly pops up out of nowhere, okay? Robin Thicke pops up out of nowhere with the track When You Love Somebody, basically a very bland, watered down love song, and it sounds dumb, okay? Russ also has a new track called Rent Free with his very unbearably egotistical attitude. I mean, the beat is bland and the performances are just irritating, so I guess there's that. Also, Tegan and Sarah came out with 2 new tracks, Hey, I'm Just Like You, and Don't Believe the Things They Tell You. They lie. And these 2 tracks are some of the most uninspired, boring, bland, deaf-tone, and one-dimensional tracks I've heard this month. And they're so one-dimensional and they're so one-note, and the tongue-in-cheek performances just make it worse. Anyway, Tuvlo, Sweet Talk My Heart. Speaking of mainstream pop, TRST, The Strain, also a really bland and washed out track that feels kind of aimless and directionless. And at the end, Y2K, or Year 2000, and BB No Dollar Sign, or BB Nos, with La La La. And I get it, it's sort of a funny song, funny haha song. A, it's not really that funny. B, it's trying to do this, like trying to do just a slight bit of Latin pop, on that Latin wave trend, but it's really whitewashed, and it's bad. Okay, we're speeding through it. Good songs. Let's go. Starting off with Boards of Canada with XYZ, some really interesting, futuristic, cutting-edge soundscapes, and some really nice beats. Afterwards, Bonnie Prince Billy, At the Back of the Pit, which is a really sweet and honest and sincere sort of this country folk tune that's kind of funny and theatrical, actually. Caroline Polachek. I mean, look at that album cover. I hope that's the album cover. But wow. I mean, wow. But yeah, anyway, the song itself isn't as badass or as moody as the album cover. It's actually really catchy, tongue-in-cheek, almost bedroom pop song that's really solid. So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings is the name of the track. Afterwards, Charli XCX keeps on coming out with good songs. February 2017 featuring Clairo and Yaeji, and also 2099, which I think features Troye Sivan, and both of them are really futuristic, cutting-edge, sugar-coated pop songs that are full of energy and colors, and they're really vibrant, and I will review her album like 2 days later. Chelsea Wolfe, finally a ballad that is dark and brooding, but also powerful and immense. It's deranged for rock and roll. Also, new clipping song, La Mala Ordina is the name of the track. It features a bunch of people, but anyway, I actually kind of like how psychedelic and strange and odd the instrumentals are. And of course, David Diggs totally kills it. The Comet is Coming actually came up with a new album out of nowhere. I don't know why. But Lifeforce Part 2 is one of the tracks, and I love it. It's futuristic, it's cutting edge, it's very flavorful, very luscious, and they sort of vibrate and pulsate. I'm talking about the saxophones here, and they're amazing. And also the intro track for DaBaby actually has some good instrumentals, admittedly. Danny Brown also has a new track called Best Life, with some really good flows and some nice, decent instrumentals. I really like the attitude that the song has, though, because it's about living your best life. And afterward, a track that I think is really, really friggin' good, DIIV with Blankenship. This is a really solid, catchy banger of a rock track, a solid rock track, almost metal, like Baroness kind of metal, but not as wild or as epic, but more solid and more contained, almost with a slight dash of Linkin Park in it, and it's catchy AF. Afterwards, DJ Shadow with the track Rosie. I love the production of the thing. The chopped up vocals, the samples, the whole thing is just amazing. Afterwards, Foals the Runner. It's a banger. Love the groovy guitar riffs. Love the aggression of the track. Also, Gang Starr with Family and Loyalty featuring J. Cole. I love the instrumentals of the track. It's kind of moody and psychedelic in a great way. And of course, the performances are solid. Anyway, George Clanton and Nick Hexum with 2 tracks, Crash Pad and King for a Day. And they're both really futuristic and cutting edge, kind of chamber pop, which actually sounds pretty great in my opinion. Also, Ghost comes out with Kiss the Go-Goat and Mariana Cross. Very 60s, 70s vintage rock inspired metal track with a slight occultist twist to them, which I really, really love. And Jeff Lynne's ELO with the track From Out of Nowhere, and it's also one of the more psychedelic, dreamy, really washed out rock infused tracks, and it just feels very otherworldly. And also Jenny Hval with the track Accident, which is really strange, but really well performed, really well put together, and really well composed. The track Kim Gordon, Airbnb, is very weird and freaky, and I love it. I just love the rawness of the track, and it's also kind of funny as well. Anyway, Lil Nas X and DaBaby has a Panini remix. Yes, it's true that DaBaby shows up in this video 3 times. But yeah, Panini is a good song. I like it. And the remix is, of course, good because it has more personality and character to it. Anyway, Liturgy, God of Love. This is some Death Heaven level, just post-metal. And it's really epic, really lavishing, really immense. Also, one of the most fun bangers of the month has to go to LunchMoneyLewis, Make That Cake, featuring Doja Cat. The beat is very low-key, but it actually perfectly complements the very fun, crazy, freaky performances and rhymes of the track. Also, Monsume, Out of My Mind. It's actually catchy, a really, really catchy song, even though it's very washed out and very Childish Gambino, Red Bonish, you know? Anyway, Mount Eerie, Love Without Possession, featuring Julie Doiron, and it's a really nice low-key ballad that's actually more warm, and I'm glad that Phil is getting better now, you know, mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Anyway, Neil Young with Crazy Horse, Rainbow of Colors, which is a really sweet folk tune that's absolutely solid and really well written. Just, you know, in Neil Young's lane, you know. The Night Watch with the track Mendoza, and this track is actually really epic. And I love it. Yeah, Orla Gartland, Did It to Myself. Not a huge fan of the music video, but the tune itself is actually really catchy and enjoyable for some reason. Afterwards, Pink Floyd, High Hopes early version. High Hopes is easily the best song off of the Division Bell, and this early version, while it's not as, you know, far-fetched or as epic or as heartfelt or as bittersweet, but it still has the moods, you know, the vibes, you know. Afterwards, oh my gosh, Rex Orange County, 10 out of 10. One of my favorite songs of all the songs that I've mentioned so far. This song is catchy, it's heartfelt, it's a very straightforward ballad with some simple keyboards and some simple drum machine beats, but I just really love how heartfelt and sincere and also catchy this song is. I love the lyrics as well. Also, very amazing, Richard Dawson, Two Halves. Richard Dawson, back from the medieval times, now coming out with some lo-fi noise folk. And this song, not only is it pleasant, it's enjoyable, it's catchy, it's sticky, but also has the aggression that I really, really love from all of Richard's past work. Anyway, a banger. That is slowthai and Denzel Curry. The track name is Psycho. I love the crazy deranged strings on the beat and the instrumentals. I love the performances here, and the track is a banger. Sudan Archives has a track called Confessions, and we get this clickety beat with some lavishing strings. Really interesting combination. I love the performances of the thing as well, and the whole thing is just pretty beautiful. Even more beautiful, Keishi, Even If It Hurts, featuring Blood Orange. Hell yeah, I love this track. This track is catchy, it's colorful, and it's very beautiful and sensual as well. Perfect R&B track featuring Dev Hynes. Shout out to Dev Hynes. Afterwards, Tonight with the track Serpent. Not a very mainstream friendly track, but I love how kooky, freaky, and African tribal tinged some of the drum smashes on this track is. And also Underworld with the track Starr. And it's even more freaky and weird and experimental, sort of a track poking fun at celebrity culture, I guess. And also Vivian Girls with this really washed out but also noisy, sludgy track. That's also kind of sad and beautiful. It's called Sludge. Also Weezer throwing out some aggressive, harsh guitar riffs right here. The track is called The End of the Game, and their album is called Van Weezer. It's either gonna suck or it's gonna be great. Wiki, who sounds like JID after 10 years, and Mad Lib with the track Eggs. Love the beat because, of course, it's Mad Lib, and I love the performances as well. And at the end, Wilco, Everybody Hides. It's a really nice, sweet, low-key folk tune with a pretty interesting video. Okay, now let's talk about some other stuffs. We have the trailer for Martin Scorsese's The Irishman finally coming out. While I think there are some legitimately great, like legendary actors in the movie, like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and of course is Martin Scorsese. I'm not looking forward to the movie that much because it's very much in Martin Scorsese's lane and probably isn't going to be all that different. Anyway, Birds of Prey, a spin-off movie of Suicide Squad featuring Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. It's out, and the trailer is so-so. It's really not that great. The poster is even worse. But still, I'm keeping an open mind. Afterwards, the Gentleman trailer is out. Kind of interesting, but again, not really looking forward so much. Also, The King's Man, which is a prequel to The Kingsman, is also out. Ralph Fiennes is in the movie, and he seems pretty amazing in it. Also, I feel like I really shouldn't talk about this, but Dave Chappelle with a Netflix comedy special, Sticks and Stones. It's you either love it or hate it, you know. And while I don't think it's the funniest Dave Chappelle special ever, it's not as bad as critics say it is. I feel like a lot of the critics who holds political correctness culture in their hearts so much are offended by the special because some jokes are offensive, and that's kind of sad because, you know, that's what comedy is about. Comedy isn't about disrespecting people, but it's offending people so that a joke delivers, and that is comedy. So Dave Chappelle is still one of my favorite comedians of all time. But yeah, anyway, what are your opinions on these songs? And like if you like them, hate if you hate them, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. It's 8:30. I need to go eat dinner. Bye.